Representation information might not be the first thing you think of when considering archives, but in an age of information management and digital preservation, it is a vital component of a wider model used by archival institutions and organisations. So what is RI? By the end of this short video, you will know a bit more about what representation information is, why it is important for digital preservation, how it can be applied in a record-keeping context, and just a few of the associated problems and solutions. The Digital Preservation Coalition website states that the representation information accompanying a digital object or sequence of bits is used to provide additional meaning. But what does this mean? All digital records are created from bits and bytes, a series of ones or zeros that collectively represent letters, numbers, and images that are rendered on the computer screen. The additional information that is provided as representation information allows the bytes making up the data object to be interpreted as identifiable and understandable information. Just as the thoughts in someone's mind can be represented as words on a page, representation information allows encoded data to be interpreted and rendered so as to be understood by the designated user. Take the emoji, for example. Each emoji style, such as the smiley face, has a unique code, and each unique code is rendered on screens using representation information that allows the code to be rendered in a variety of ways, depending on the system it is being supported by. An iOS emoji may look slightly different to one viewed on an Android phone. Representation information is vital in ensuring that digital objects are preserved, accessible, and can be interpreted over time, even if the type of object becomes obsolete. Representation information can be divided into two categories: structural information, which relates to the format, and semantic information, which relates to the meaning. Metadata is an example of representation information, providing information such as the date of file creation, the format, the file pathways, and source. Representation information for a PDF document is located by accessing properties, and you can see here that once accessed, you can reveal the folder path, the size of the file, and other information. File profiling is also another useful tool, because representation information is really important for informing file profiling and format characterization. OAIS stands for Open Archival Information System, and it remains one of the core standards in the broader digital preservation community. Within the OAIS model, the content data object, for example, images in the form of a PDF, needs enough representation information to ensure that it is accessible and can be interpreted and understood by the user or the designated community. You can see here that the data object is interpreted using the representation information that accompanies it, along with the representation properties. This together yields the information object. So, to locate the basic representation information, you can do this by, as we showed before, clicking on Properties. Once you've opened your file, click on the Properties section and up will come the representation information in the form of metadata. You can also use specialist software and file profiling tools. Droid is a software tool developed by the National Archives to perform automated batch identification of file formats. It's used by many digital archivists who can use it to identify the type of information that is attached to a digital object. Jehove is an open source file format identification, validation and characterization tool, and again another very useful tool. Technical registries such as Pronem are also important. Pronem is linked to Droid, and Pronem is the National Archives' preferred technical registry, providing definitions of file formats and their supporting software requirements. So, as with anything, there may be a number of problems. One of the problems is the complex representation networks may be required for full interpretation, with a number of different layers of information. The solution is to have a very clear understanding of the designated community and their knowledge base. An additional problem is a potential shift in the designated user profile. The solution to this is that representation information should be reviewed and adapted where necessary. So now you know a little bit more about what representation information is, why it is important for digital preservation, how it can be applied in a record-keeping context, and just a few of the associated problems and solutions. Thank you very much for watching.